Look like a little moon with a mustache. Just the darkness here. Anyways, let's get on with this. Hello everybody, E here. Welcome back to Top 5 Friday. We're in front of the King shelves. You know what that means. This is a Stephen King themed Top 5 Friday. Last week I did the top 5 Stephen King villains. A lot of you mentioned Randall Flagg. He was not on that list, of course. He's not on this list either. He's somewhere in the middle for me. I wasn't even going to bring him up at all, but I got so many of you talking about Randall Flagg. Even on the live stream I did Friday night, everybody's like, "What happened to Randall Flagg, eh?" I don't like... The guy is a villain. I mean, he's almost like a companion. He's almost like somebody accompanying you on a journey. I mean, he's almost he's not a hero. Don't get me wrong, but and on top of that, he's not a very good villain. I mean, he's a great character. Don't get me wrong there. He's a great character. He's not a very good villain. I mean, he doesn't do his job very well. But anyway, and he's also more of a, in the grand scheme of things, he's also more of a henchman than he is like a villain. And I know some people are going to disagree with that, especially like in The Stand, but I still feel that way. You know, as far as the Dark Tower overall is concerned, yeah, he's more of a henchman. But anyways, let's jump into this list. There's going to be at least one book, 2 books. There's at least going to be 2 books that I don't remember the name of these villains, and that's why they are on this list. I didn't even bother to go look them up. So if you want to do the research and go down there in the doobly-doo and tell me what I screwed up, that's fine. No anger here, no hate. I would appreciate it, actually. So Sarah and Patrick, if you want to, do what you do best down there in the doobly-doo. The reason for it is I want to give you what I remember about these villains, if I remember anything at all. Okay, I don't want to have my memory jostled by looking it up and, you know, oh, okay, that's what they did. That's what they do. Because in one of these things, I don't remember a thing about it, and they're both favorite books of mine. So let's jump into it. At number 5, we have whoever is the bad guys in Lisi Story. These two fellas are so damn forgettable, I don't remember their names. I don't even remember how much they harass Lisi. The point of this book, and it's one of my favorite Stephen King books, but the point of this book is not the villains. And I think that it screws a lot of people up when they read this book, because they're looking for, you know, Old King or whatever, whatever they're looking for in a Stephen King novel when they get it. It's low on the weirdness, high on the emotion and the heart, and that tends to throw people when it comes to King, especially when he's writing female characters. If you'll notice, books like Gerald's Game, books like Rose Matter, Lisi Story, they tend not to be too popular for some odd reason. And it's funny because you get, I've heard from female fans over the years, some think that Stephen King writes the best female characters they've ever seen. Some think he writes terrible female characters. In fact, you can go, oh man, what video is it? I think it's Sleeping Beauties, it might not be. But on one of my videos, there's 2 women right, one on top of the other. One saying, Stephen King writes the worst women. Right underneath it, Stephen King writes the best women. And it's not a response to either one. They're like 3 days apart. I'm like, what? So it's almost as if each and every woman is their own individual person. Holy shit. Anyways, so yeah, Lisi Story is at number 5 on the list because I can't even remember the villains' names, much less what they do. I remember Scott and Lisi's relationship, and that's what makes that book so powerful. Next up, at number 4, we have Bag of Bones. What's the old dude's name? Crickets. Or maybe Birds song, because I got birds outside singing. I don't remember the old dude's name. Spoiler alert for Bag of Bones. If you have not read the book, scrub your ass on. In 3, in 2, in 1. I mean, he just ends up killing himself at some point, and he just disappears off the page. Like King was like, oh, I realize this guy's a shitty villain. Let me just straight up just murk his ass and get rid of him like I did in The Stand, where I just blew up a bunch of people with TNT. I just said, bye, bitches. So yeah, number 4 is another character I can't remember to save my life. It's whatever. And I just realized there's actually 3 books on here with characters I can't remember the name of, which is a shame. I've read Lisi Story total of, let's see here, 2 times now. Bag of Bones 3 times. I can't remember the names of the villains. Next up, we have whatever the hell is in from at number 3. Whatever the hell is in the car, or the car itself, from a Buick 8. I was gonna wait and put this one on another list, which is the top 5 Stephen King humanoid villains or whatever, but I decided not to because I was looking through all of this stuff, and with the villains, I'm having a problem because he writes such good such good villains that I had a problem finding books with it. And I think there are only these 5. I'd love to hear what you guys think down there. But yeah, the car thing, whatever, the things that come out of the car, it's whatever. And I guess I remember the name of this one because it's the Buick 8. I hate this book. I'm sorry, guys. I hate it. Even in Cell, I love the Raggedy Man. Even in Dreamcatcher, and that's the trilogy of trash, by the way, from a Buick 8, Dreamcatcher, and Cell. Those books came out back to back, and they were just fucking terrible. But in Cell, I like the Raggedy Man. That was a great character. I hear they whitewashed him in the movie. Is that true? That's fucking odd. Anyways, and then in Dreamcatcher, I actually like the Shitweasels. And I like Mr. Gray. I like both of those characters and concepts. I just don't like the characters or the story. But in this one, in fact, I would go on to say that even in a bad Stephen King book, the only good thing about it is usually the villain. But not this time. It's just not memorable. The creatures that come out of here, I mean, he's written better things, better stories about things coming out, or killer cars is the main thing, I think, and there's also discussion to be had out of the trilogy of killer cars, Mile 81, Christine, and From a Buick 8, which one is the best villain out of those, and I would say probably Mile 81 is. I know Christine fans, I understand, but I still think Mile 81's car is cooler and has better deaths than Christine's deaths. Y'all raging me down there in the doobly-doo. Okay, next up we have at number 2, Rose the Hat from Dr. Sleep. Talk about a shit villain. This one was almost at number 1 if it hadn't have been for the latecomer that is at number 1. But this one, I have never read such a nerfed, unpowerful, just POS, goofy-ass villain. I mean, first off, she wears a damn top hat. Come on. If anything, a woman in a top hat is drop-dead sexy. That's not evil. And the spoilers, again, for Dr. Sleep, if you have not seen it? You'll see it later this year. But if you have not read it, spoilers in 3, 2, 1. The way she dies, I mean, they just completely, what's her name? Abra is way overpowered, and she defeats Rose. She defeats the True Knot like they a bunch of, just, I don't know, just a bunch of wimps, I guess, is the wimpiest way I can put it. But the main problem with Rose the Hat is how just forgettable she is. I almost said unforgettable. That would have been the wrong word. Just completely forgettable. If there is any character development for this thing, other than that she's a psychic vampire, I don't remember a thing about it. She's not memorable in the least. The only thing I remember about it is her name, because she actually has the hat on the cover of the first edition hardcover. So it's really hard to forget the name. And it's red. It's Red Rose the Hat. Get it? Anyways, at number 1, there's a lot of them in here. So let's all come together. This is the other one I don't remember the name of, the villains, whatever, is Sleeping Beauties by Stephen King and Owen King. Oh, God, this book. Okay, I hear a lot of comments about this book sucks because it's feminist, this book sucks because it's SJW or any of that other stuff. I find that funny, honestly. Because what makes this book bad is it's just a bad book. I mean, there's so many things that you can say about this book that is terrible. All of Stephen King's work is political. I've proved this point several times, especially in the comment section of this book. But there's just no fun to be had in this novel that wasn't already had in Under the Dome. It's almost like he went full Kuntz, like he just tried to rewrite Under the Dome, and Under the Dome was damn near perfect up until the ending. But as far as the villains go, what's her name? Eve, whatever her name is. She's a gender swap Andre Lenoge from Storm of the Century, and I liked Andre Lenoge in that miniseries / script, because it's not an actual novel. It's a script. But in this one, I also can't remember the human villains. It's just the way I felt about it toward the end was that everybody in their own way was a villain. Everybody had their gray area, which is usually what King is good at, but nobody rose above their asshattery, and it just kind of fizzled out, and there was nobody memorable in the book whatsoever. Anybody who was memorable was a better character in another book. This almost, honest to God, man, this book almost feels like a twinner of Under the Dome to me. I mean, I can pick out characters and go, this person is that person, this person is that person. It's almost like Desperation and Regulators for me. And I dislike this one. Well, I dislike this one much more than I dislike Desperation, but there is a stronger of the two, and I feel, probably because I read it first, yes, that Under the Dome is a far superior novel. And I remember Big Jim Rainey. There is no Big Jim Rainey in here. There's one dude, but he's not important. But until next time, leave your list. I screwed up my own outro. Anyways, if you have your own list, please let me know. I know you're going to let me know. That's why I forget. I know you're going to let me know without me having to tell you. Leave your list down there in the doobly-doo. But until next time, I have been E, you have been you. This has been another Top 5 Friday. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye!